Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another WIP Wednesday or Wednesday WIP Knockout. I have 3 projects here I'm super excited to start working on, and I hope you feel the same way. If you are new to these WIP or Wednesday WIP Knockouts, I just need you to grab 3 projects to work on. We are going to have 3 different 20-minute sections where all we're doing is focusing, zeroing in, tunnel vision on just one project, just 20 minutes, 5-minute inner transitions. And then between section 2 and section 3, we're going to do a nice stretch. So that way we can take care of our bodies and make sure that we are doing all of the things we should do technically as crocheters. Well, welcome everybody. I'm so glad you're here. It's so great for you to join me and be a part of this. I hope it's helping you as much as it's helping me. Because this is like our 4th one now, I'm hoping that we can get started sooner and that the more we do these things, we can just kind of dive right in. So our replays, people wanting to come back to this, it happens, the 20-minute timer happens much faster for us. Okay, so the projects that I am picking, I'm going to share with you the projects I'm going to work on today. I decided to select them ahead of time. Last week, I dug into my bin and I literally spent like 8 minutes just kind of going through my bin, seeing what I had in there, what I wanted to potentially work on. And I felt like I wasted a lot of time. It was fun going through the bin and fun seeing what I had in there, but then also realizing, crap, I haven't seen this project in a really long time and I don't even know where to begin. And so I wanted to be just a teensy bit more prepared this time so I could actually maximize my 20 minutes on making progress on a project opposed to spending a big chunk of that 20-minute section just figuring out what to do. So I think you could probably sympathize with me there. Hi, Heather. I'm so glad that you're here. Welcome. I'm so glad that you could make it. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to share with you the projects I'm working on. Please share with me the projects that you plan on working on today, because I know I ask during the 20-minute sections when we're really focused and trying to work on the thing. And so I figured, maybe I'll ask beforehand, what are you working on? What do you plan on doing during our session today? And if you're planning on working on the same project, that's cool. If you're planning on doing something not crochet related, that's totally fine. I'm super curious to see how you utilize these 20-minute sections of time. Okay, the first project that I'm going to be working on is this assigned color pooling project that I am tinkering with. So if you remember, if you follow my social media at all, I posted on there a skein of yarn or a hank of yarn. It looks like this. I still have one hanked up that I haven't caked yet. So it looks like this. Wow, I might actually close my blinds if it gets too bright. My last video, like crazy bright with all the sun that comes in from that window. But the colors are very true. That's nice. So there is a brand new yarn dyeing technique called assigned color pooling, where the idea is super cool. It's super neat, brand new. The idea is that you work up a yarn. It's a majority of it's one color with just a little bit of the secondary color. You're working up the yarn or pattern, working up the project with the first color. And as soon as the color changes to the next color, you change the stitch that you're playing with. So it's not like a pattern that you could follow along with on a piece of paper, because there's no way that the instructions would know when the colors will actually change. So you're really having to vibe with the yarn itself and utilize a pattern that can change pretty easily. And it'll look something like this. So this is the design I'm playing with. Something like this. So again, the 2 colors that are going to show up in the cake are gray and orange. And whenever it's gray, I'm just doing the seed stitch, which is a single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet stitch. And then as soon as it switches to orange, I do a bobble. And there's literally just enough orange to work one bobble. I noticed, obviously, working through this project. And it's coming up really, really cool. I am noticing the one thing that is very interesting about this particular project is working the seed stitch is I need to have enough room to make a single crochet and a chain one, skip one before I can make my next stitch. So if the color ends up changing in the middle of my chain one, skip one, I just kind of go with it. So it's one of those patterns where I feel like you also have to have a lot of stitch knowledge and confidence in being able to like take the pattern and really just kind of play with it, experiment with it, not be rigid and, oh no, this is what I'm supposed to do right now. It just kind of like flow with it. And oh, I can't make a bobble stitch right now, but I'll take that orange color and I'll start the chain one, I'll start the bobble stitch. And if half of the bobble stitch ends up being gray, it's fine. Like this one right here. I don't know. Oh, there we go. Where half of it is orange and half of it is gray. It just kind of happens that way and being okay with that. But this is the design that I'm going to be playing with because I really want to get this pattern out ASAP. But that's as far as I've gotten in this one skein. And I'm like, I got to get going on that one. The next project that I'm going to be working on, if you remember, if you recall, my collab project I did with Tony, TL Yarn Crafts, I think it was last year, where we did the kitchen set, where it was a pot holder, a washcloth. I'm trying to block the reflection of the sun, and a dish towel set that we did together. Well, I ended up having like this much yarn left over. Just enough where I think I can still play with it. I still have like whole donuts that weren't touched, and I really don't want this yarn to just go into a scrap. I want to take it and I want to just make some more of the kitchen utensils. So I'm going to play with that as my second project, dig into that project. And then the third project that I'm going to work on today is working more of these miniature granny squares that I'm trying to build up because I would love to make a blanket, and I think those colors look great. So that's my 3 projects. Heather, what did you write? Like last week, I'm taking a break from crocheting. Good for you. Working on decluttering, organizing your art studio. Oh, I like that. That sounds fun. Have you as background. Ah, that's cool. I love it. I love that. Thank you so much. Okay, so what I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do now is we're going to go ahead and get this timer going so that way we can make progress pretty quickly. Right, so on my iPad right here, I have 20 minutes on the clock, and I'm going to go ahead and push go. I got 20 minutes, and I'm going to set that right there. So it's easy for us to see and keep track of it. I tried finding a timer on the web, on YouTube. I tried to find a timer on my editing software, and it was a no-go. And I was like, well, I don't want to have to get a third software just to get a timer. So I'm like, this will do. This will be fine. Yeah, I thought that was a really neat look that we came up with. Yeah, that was really cool. Okay, my first project, this guy right here. Now, it's funny with this pattern, this is more of a knit yarn, whereas the person that created the idea of the assigned color pooling yarn, they're a knitter. And so a lot of the examples, demos are knit. There's like one crochet example that I saw. And so Euphoria Knits, Janessa, who made this, she dyed this. I met her and she's like, can you come up with another crochet design? Because there's just nothing out there. So the one that's out in out in the wild, the only other pattern that you can find that's crochet. It's double crochets and bobbles. And it's all right. But I was like, I don't want to do the exact same thing that she's doing. But the bobbles I loved the 3-dimensional pop of these guys. Cause like, look at that. Like, that's just fun. That's just fun. So I was like, I still want to do a bobble. I think that's cute. But I was like, what can I do for the other stitch? And I really liked the idea of the seed stitch, something super simple, something that had full coverage. Because I tried a lot of different stitches. I actually went through probably 5 different swatches, 5 different like trials, tests, and I didn't like any of them. I was like, geez, this is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. And then I found this one. I was like, I really like this. So I'm going to stick with this. But as I'm working this up, I'm like, man, I would love to play with, I'd love to try to see if there was a way that I could take this yarn, this cool concept of switching up the stitch for the color change. I was like, I'd love to make it distressed looking, like something with like a big whole section, almost like just chaining across, like, oh, all I'm doing is chaining. Like, that's what I got to do. But at the same time, I have to figure out a way that I then don't have to worry about, okay, well, what do I do for the next row? Because I have to only use the one stitch. I can't compensate with, okay, now make your stitch over the chain, because then I'd be covering up everything that I just did. I don't know. We will see. I want to play with it. I think there is a lot of room for some cool things with this concept. Hi, Nessa. So good. So glad to see you. So good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. Wow, I just kind of like totally jumbled those two things up. It was a combination of so good to see you and so glad you're here. And I'm like, so glad to see you. like, okay. All right. That's how the day's going. It's good though. I'm having a good Wednesday. Are you guys having a good Wednesday? Middle of the week, hump day. Nessa, let me know what you are working on today. I'm super curious. You, girl, always have so much going on, so many projects you're working. I'm really excited. So the summer top that I'm making for my main YouTube channel, it's coming along really, really well. I am really close to finishing up the design and the pattern, and I'm really excited. So that should be coming out soon. Fingers crossed. Got a lot of patterns projects working behind the scenes. I think that's another big reason why I love these sections, these segments so much. Get to really play, knock out some things. Mm-hmm. I wonder. I could do this. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Oh, you're working at the moment? Getting yarn orders in? Awesome. Oh my gosh, yarn unboxings sound like fun. I'm hoping to do some of those again here in the near future. They just seem like fun. Changing things up. Oh, So you're working on, I'm so glad that you're working on that, my Tiffany top. It's one of my favorite patterns. I wear mine all the time. But yeah, picking the colors, the hardest part, really. Oh my gosh. So this last weekend, I was out and about checking out all of the local Goodwills and thrift stores, and I did not realize there were so many like close to me. I was looking for some crocheted blankets that I could use for a game at my retreat that we're going to play. And so I'm like going around thinking, gosh, I've seen tons of crocheted blankets at Goodwill, and usually they're all like so cheap, like $2.99, $4.99, depending on the size of the blanket. It's like that'd be perfect. I'll just go to Goodwill. I had to go to like 6 Goodwills to find 4 blankets. It's like, wait a second. But I did manage to find everything I needed. And that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm not going to share with you what the game is just yet because I don't want to give away too much. But yeah, that was really interesting. Also, I get really curious to see what type of blankets that people donated to Goodwill or donated to these thrift stores. It's like, really, that you donated that away to Goodwill. That's part of me is like, I wonder if a lot of people just don't know of charities they could donate to. Because that would have been cool too. It's also really interesting to see how they evaluate or rate how much to charge for that item. It's like, really? Okay. All right. When did you start your crochet journey? I started when I was 11, 12 years old. Oh, thanks for asking, Heather. Gosh, I started when I was really, really young. So I don't know. Like, I started when I was about 4 or 5 years old. But I'd say that my journey started differently than other people's because my journey started because my grandmother would babysit and I was a hyperactive child. I would run around and just drive her crazy and I'd get into everything because I was super curious and I was bored. And yeah, I was that kid. And she was a crocheter. She did motif like things. She did what I would define as like mandala type stuff. Big like hexagon type blankets. She would crochet Barbie clothes. So if I wanted to play Barbies, she had some fun little clothes that I could, play dress up with for my Barbie dolls. But she would just crochet and I would just watch her sometimes. And she started me with a chain. Like, here's a crochet hook, here's some yarn and just chain. And I was like, cool. And that would literally hold my attention for a really long time. I just sit there and I just focus. Okay, I can do this, I'll figure it out. And it worked. It got me to just sit still and focus. And then eventually I asked her, okay, well, how do I get onto the next row? Like, how do I do something with this? And I think she taught me how to do a single crochet. I can't remember, obviously. It's really little. And she passed away when I was really little. So I can't exactly ask her, but I do remember loving it. I do remember loving crochet when I was little. And I would just do little things like little squares, make this. My mom kept some of the things and I was like, what is that? She's like, I don't know, but you made it. And I was like, okay. And I just kind of, because I knew I loved it, I wanted to grow off of that. So I ended up teaching myself just by kind of like dinking around a little bit. I ended up buying one of those I can't believe I can crochet books from Walmart. I don't know if you guys remember what those are. They're basically like crochet for dummies type books, but I think they came with like a crochet hook, and that was what it was called. It's like, I can't believe I can crochet. And then I would just kind of like figure it out, play. I did a lot of tinkering and just dinking around and loving it. And I made a lot of blankets because obviously that was easy, working back and forth, back and forth. And I taught myself. And not saying I was great, definitely wasn't great. Made a lot of errors because I had no one to teach me or guide me. But that was kind of the beginning of my journey. I made just a lot of blankets, some scarves, mostly blankets. It wasn't until I became a young adult and family members and friends started having kids that I started making amigurumis. Loved making amigurumis. And then just the journey kind of took off from there. I've had a lot of different, my crochet journey has taken me a lot of different directions. It's quite interesting, but I love the journey. And I think that's what I thrive off of sharing with people is crochet is a journey. Where is it going to take you? It's just, it fascinates me how many different directions crochet can take people. I'm just like, wow. It's amazing. It's amazing. I love hearing people's stories. Sorry, totally went on just kind of like, there it is. Oh my goodness. Okay. My mouse is like, it goes to sleep, and the only way I can get it to like start working again is I kind of like have to hit it. And then all of a sudden the light will turn on. I'm like, oh, it works now. So funny. So if you ever like all of a sudden see me like doing something and like hitting my mouse, you're like, oh, she's bringing it back. All right. So Nessa, you said you had to work late on Friday. I'm just reading it now. Late on Friday plus Saturday and Sunday. Lost my voice. Oh no. While filming one unboxing, but your throat was hurting, so you couldn't film. That's rough. Now I need to. So you're feeling behind with your content. You're feeling behind with your unboxings. I'm sure that's bringing stress. I'm sure that's not helping. But take your time. Come back to it when you're ready. Like, people will wait for you. People will wait for you. You chose an orange, tan, pink. Oh, self-striping yarn. Ooh, orange, tan, and pink. That could be really pretty. Very summery. Oh, and you're trying to figure out what project to pack to bring on the trip. I get it. That's always hard, man. I end up overpacking every time I travel. Every time I travel, I have like my bag for my clothes and my toiletries and stuff, and I have a separate bag for my projects. Like, that's my two bags. I have my suitcase and my carry-on. My carry-on's always filled with like 5 or 6 different projects because I can never decide what I'm going to end up wanting to work on when I get somewhere. I always way overpack. Then there's always a bunch of stuff I don't even get to or don't even touch. But that's okay. I at least had it there just in case. But be careful not to overpack for our trip because you will be bringing stuff home. So make sure you leave yourself some room to bring stuff home. I'm trying to decide on the colors to use for a blanket. Oh yeah, that's tough too. Just deciding on colors is hard. I'm gonna try to start using color palettes more off Pinterest because those colors they've already figured out and decided which ones look good together. And so I'm going to try to get them to do the work for me, or even go on Pinterest and look up projects and see what other people have done to see if I can get some inspiration. That helps too sometimes. And you're finishing a border on a pattern. Oh, it's almost done. That's good. 2 shawls. Have you ever done or used an envelope border? No, I don't know what an envelope border is. I was thinking of using one. I'm going to have to write that down. What is an envelope border? Oh, we got 2 minutes for project number 1. The other yarn reminds me of sherbet ice cream. Oh yeah, I love that. That'd be fun. It'd make me hungry all the time though. It's easy to overpack when it comes to crochet. Oh my gosh, guys. So yesterday I went and I watched the new Twister movie. Have you guys seen it? I love natural disaster movies. I love like tornado movies. I don't know what it is. That's just, I get a huge kick out of and thrill out of those movies. I ended up watching the first Twister movie that's like 20 years old, like recently, because I was like, gosh, I want to see that one first to see if these 2 movies are at all connected in any way, or if it's completely apart from the first Twister movie. And oh my gosh, it was so good. If you are into tornado movies or natural disaster movies or stuff like that, you've got to watch it. It was so good. And they are connected. It's not like a complete sequel. Like they're not incredibly interconnected, but they do have a lot of hinting to the first movie, which I thought was really sweet. It's like, oh wow, that's so cool. But they didn't have any like cast members or anything in it. But I loved the concept. The concept behind what they were trying to accomplish in the movie was really cool. And obviously the updated graphics and technology that we have now was amazing. It was amazing. So I am definitely a nerd when it comes to watching those type of movies. I love them. Natural disasters. End of the world. That's me. All right. Our timer is going off right now. So session number 1 is over. Find a good stopping place for your project number 1 or whatever you're doing for this first section. I'm going to go ahead and put the 5-minute transition timer on right now. So 5-minute transition timer, because I'm going to just wrap up this row that I'm working on. This gives you an opportunity to then fold up and put away your project neatly. Pick up your second project, get yourself situated, organized, so that way when we start or begin the second session, you are good to go. Oh boy, I'm starting there. Really, that's where I'm going to end. Okay. I gotta do a bubble. Gotta do a bubble. So that's just funky. That's just funky. There we go. Okay, that's a good stopping spot. Ha! Okay. Put that away. Folding. Nice and neat. And wrap, extra yarn. Cool. That is good. Okay. Now what do I want to work on next? I think I want to do a dish towel to really use up the most amount. I'm actually hoping to make a couple dish towels and just put them in my guest bathroom. Just kind of fold it and then drape it on the thing and use it in my guest bathroom. Because right now those towels, they need to be replaced anyway. And I was like, well, if I crochet something and this guest bathroom is like right next to my office, I'm like, I'm contributing, right? It'll keep me in, or keep the fact that my office is right next door. I'm contributing to the household, have something well-rounded. What colors do I want to use though? Got my crochet hook at least. Got my instructions. I'm at least prepared. I have a game plan opposed to like last week. Whew. Oh, Donna, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Hi. We have 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So I'm going to check the chat real quick now that I know that I am set and good, ready for next round. This kit, it's nice, but the tone of purple in the kit is too close to the light brown. So I already did 5 rows in the purple. Looks darker on the site. Okay, lighter in person. That's always a bummer when the color isn't true. That's why it's really, really hard for me to buy yarn online. Sometimes it's just necessary because some yarn suppliers are exclusively online, or it's the only way I can get my hands on it. And so I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'm gonna have to just hope and pray that it's gonna turn out okay. It's gonna be awesome and I'm gonna love it. The envelope borders, they sometimes use on mosaic projects. Oh, I haven't really played with a lot of mosaic projects, so that's one reason, I guess, why I haven't heard of it. They hide the tail ends of the rows. Makes sense. I did not realize that mosaic had so many tails. Like how you don't turn it. You just kind of like cut the yarn and then start from the beginning again. I was like, whoo, okay. That is interesting. So that makes sense that they would use a different type of border to cover all those. I think the border has 2 sides. Put in, then stitch both sides together. That kind of sounds like the cover-up border that I did for the temperature blanket. I think I released it in like January or something, where it's just kind of like a blanket that you fold over the sides to cover the edges. I was wondering when you said envelope, I was like, I wonder if it's the same concept, and it sounds like it could be. Because I do a lot of crochet commissions. I kind of feel I'm losing my Crojo, blah. You're not alone. You're absolutely not alone. And it's good to take care of yourself. Some tricks that I've heard some people do to try to get out of Crojo is really fast, small projects. Like just make a scrubby, or just make a washcloth, or just make a soap sack, something that's really small. All right, that's the 5-minute mark. Stopping that. Oh, pause, cancel. Going to our next 20-minute session. Okay, and begin. 20-minute session number 2. Here we go. Now I'm going to finish saying what I was saying. But I have heard quite a few people going through a loss of Crojo right now. And so hopefully it helps you to know that you're not alone. But yeah, if you can just make something small. What I feel would help is all that the dopamine kick. I don't know if you know this, but it is a proven scientific fact that when you finish something, not just crochet, but like if you organize your pins, or if you clean your desk, or if you organize your closet or the junk drawer, or if you just kind of like take all your yarn off your shelves and then organize it back on there. If you complete something, just by finishing something, you get a dopamine release in your brain, which is like a happy hormone that just kind of releases and you feel like good. You feel good. You're like, oh, I feel accomplished. I feel really good about that. And so when we go a really long time between finishing projects, really long time between these dopamine releases, these dopamine hits, I guess you could call them, then we're not feeling the joy and we're not feeling the satisfaction or the thrill or the accomplished. We're not feeling the good feelings that can come from crochet. So maybe, possibly, by making some small things, like a bunch of small things, itty bitty, quick, start and finish, that it might help to release those happy dopamine feelings while crocheting, and it can bring the thrill, the joy, and the love and the passion back, where you're like, oh, I remember, I love doing this. I love doing this. And why? So take that with a grain of salt. Do with it what you will. If you want to give it a try or not. But I do know that when we get into commissions and when we get to selling crochet, it can be harder and harder to feel that love and joy, because you have to do something. It's not like you're being able to be creative. You have to do something. And so possibly by inserting some things that you want to do intermixed with things that you have to do, that could help. Mary, you made it. I am so glad. I've missed you. Hi, love. Lurking in the background. Well, I'm glad you said something, because I would never have known. It doesn't tell me on here on YouTube who's just the fly on the wall. I just get whoever is in the chat. So thank you for saying hi. We're already at 16 minutes and 33 seconds of session 2. And I'm figuring out what colors I want to play with. This is tough because I have limited colors. I don't know how I want them to look together. Okay, you guys help me out. What colors should I put together? Okay, I want to make another one of these because I'm utilizing the leftover yarn that I had from my Tony collab with the dish towel set. So I'm making this. So dominant color, secondary color. I'll identify as that. So I'm going to put that right here. The colors that I have to play with. So I have like this much of black. I have a whole donut and this much of the cream. I have like a little bit of gray, but I have like a whole donut and this much of pink coral. And I almost have 2 donuts of this mustard kind of color. What color would you put together? Because I'm struggling right now. So again, black, yellow, coral, cream, little bit of gray. What do you think would look good together? And which one would you put as the dominant color? And which one would you put as the secondary color? Love the coral and mustard. Yeah, that I think was the original combo. Been cleaning my desk areas so I can be more productive. It's been a long process. Sometimes cleaning the desk can feel really good though. Does it feel good? Does it at least feel good? I feel you though, Mary. I think I will go ahead. But which one would you have? Oh, and the gray, yellow, cream, coral. Yes. Yes, that too, Heather, that too. But which one? You know what I might do? Just to break it up a little bit, because I love these. Super warm though, super bright. Yellow coral brick. Yellow with coral brick. Yeah, I see it. I feel it. And then I guess what I could do is I could do something smaller with maybe the cream and the gray. I like that a lot too. I like that a lot. The cream and the gray. That's my vibe. The black though is just like, man, you stand apart. You stand completely apart. Okay, so I'll go ahead and I'll work with that. Yellow and coral for that, and then I'll do the gray and cream. And you color A. And what is like the big section? Oh wait. Color A for the border. Okay, so color A is, well, okay, so color A is going to be you then. Man, and then my kids, they're starting school in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. The 13th, August 13th, they start school. And so they're wanting back to school stuff. My daughter is the thrifter. So like I mentioned earlier, Saturday, I went to like 6 Goodwills, a thrift store, dirt cheap. I don't know if you know what those are. Dirt cheap store. We went to half price books too, just like it was a bargain day. And my daughter was all about like finding her school clothes. I was like, okay, like that's her vibe. That's her jam. She likes to repurpose clothes. Like, cool. We ended up finding some really great clothes for her at great prices. And I was like, wow, that's great. My son, however, he does not want to shop at the bargain store. He's like, nope, I want to shop. I want it new. And I'm like, of course you do. Dish towel chain 60. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 32, 35, 36, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, and 60. Cool. And then single crochet in each chain. Second chain. All right. I'm also nervous about back to school because, man, I just got into this routine and I have been sleeping in more this summer than I think I have ever slept in. I'm usually the early bird. I'm the person that wakes up early. I thrive in the morning. That is where I shine. And then it's about the afternoon around this time that I normally get tired, crash. But this summer, it's been backwards. I have been sleeping in, and then just like my days just feel so thrown off. And now the kids go back to school here in about three weeks, and the routine will shift again. Everything will change again. one thing you can always rely on is inconsistencies or things always changing. Things always changing is probably better turn of phrase, but and then I'm going to be adjusting to that. But I am one of those people. One of those crazy people that if I can wake up at 5 a.m, I feel like I can knock out so much more. I feel like I can do so much more. Ooh, I should share. So I like to get inspiration for projects in the most random, strange places. I like to get my inspiration from nature or from being out and about or from different hobbies, different project types, and see how I can incorporate that into crochet. And the other day, I found something really cool. I'm going to have to share that with you. Let me see if I can. It's hard to share things with you when I'm supposed to be chiseling away at whips. Supposed to be knocking things out, but I want to share. Let me go grab this really awesome book that I got my hands on. I love books. I love old crochet books. I love interesting crochet books. I love crochet books that have projects in it that are wildly different, because I do have a lot of crochet books and I feel like a lot of crochet books are very similar, very, very similar to each other, where I'm like, I already have something like that. I don't need another. I always get really bummed whenever I go into Barnes and Noble or a bookstore because I instantly want to try to find a really cool crochet book. And they rarely have any. Rarely. Usually the crochet section is like half of a shelf, half of one shelf. And then the knitting section is like a whole column, like all 6 shelves, and sometimes like next to each other, filled with knitting books. But crochet books will be like half of one shelf. And I'm like, boo. Yeah. Oh, wait. All right, I'm going to go grab the book that I thought was awesome. Hey, you guys. What are you doing? What are you doing? You want to come in here? I'm just going to leave the door open because I know you guys are going to be in and out. I think it's really cool when you can combine mediums, when you can combine 2 completely different crafts, whether that is knitting and crocheting and fabric material, like quilting or just fabric material. Or the other one that I thought was really neat is cross stitching and crochet. Now, I discovered this concept a couple years ago, and I did a tutorial on my YouTube channel for the Valentine scarf where I did a cross stitch heart on the pocket. But I have been really fascinated by a lot of really cute cross stitch patterns, and thinking, okay, how can I incorporate that into crochet? Whether I utilize the cross stitch pattern as a way of color changing and use an intarsia version where I look at the pattern, and every time there's a color change in where they would do a cross stitch, I would just change my yarn color. Or if I did like a solid piece, crocheted a solid piece, and then used actual cross stitching to cross stitch onto my crochet, which is actually a thing. Well, I do. I look at a lot of patterns and see if I'd even be interested or how I could translate that. And this book, oh my gosh, this book inspired me like crazy. So this is called Creepy Cross Stitch. And it's a bunch of Halloween designs that are actually more adult, something you could see very much in a living space, but it's all cross stitch. So again, it's a concept where I would bring it to crochet. But by Lindsay Swearingen. But I found this while I was at Barnes and Noble, struggling to find a book because I wanted to find a book. I wanted to find inspiration so bad. And again, the crochet book section was like this big, and half of it was like either books that I already had or just another version of something I already have. And I was like, oh, this is not going to inspire me. But I have to share with you some of these really cool cross stitches. So, and there's lots of things you could do with it. You could either put it on a wall hang or put it on a pillow, or you could make a blanket. Like I said, you could not cross stitch, but you could just utilize the pattern to do color changes. Find another one. Oh, wait, I think, yeah, that was the cover. And there's like a skeleton dude. But I also loved that it was more adult. It wasn't like kiddish. So I was like, oh, that's really neat. I could totally see myself going crazy and making a bunch of Halloween projects off of this. This is like a cat dressed up as a ghost. And I'm just going to share with you a bunch of pictures. That was super cute. That one, different. Yes. Again, not just a wall hang, but I could put it out on a pillow, or I could put it on a towel, or even like a little blanket. Can you use the palette to make graph gowns? That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That I would just take this, and you probably need to convert it because it's obviously considering thread and stitches and like this small section. But I'm sure if you already have the design, you could enlarge it to turn it into a graph gown. Yeah. Yeah. That's where I'm like, oh, that would be so cool. Get to another really cool one. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't do this one, but it's cute. It's like a ghost in the window. We got the skull right there, the cats. Cute. And then there's a rat one in here that was actually, I think, what really sold this book for me, because Hannah, my friend, she loves rats. Like, it's her thing. A spider. With the skulls on the top and the bottom. Oh, here it is. Yeah. She loves rats. And I was like, that's a very classy rat, like Halloween-y thing. So, or a sweater. The jack-o'-lantern cauldron would be cool on the back. Yes. That would be amazing. All right. Our 20-minute session for session 2 is over. So find a good stopping spot to wrap up your project, whether you need to finish a row or just put it away in a nice, neat way. I'm going to give us 5 minutes, and then we're going to stretch. Give us 5 minutes, and then we're going to stretch. But I still want to kind of, oh, this one was cool. Trick or treat. I love that idea, though, of putting it on the back of a sweater. Like, that would be badass. That would be so awesome. I like the moon too. So there's all these designs that are not like, they're not kids, like some, sure. Oh, and a bat. But they're more adult, and that's all of them. Well, there's a couple more in there that I didn't show, but they weren't as exciting as the ones I did, in my opinion. But yeah, isn't that cool? Again, taking a book for cross stitching and using it as inspiration for crochet. And I love doing that. I love doing that. It just, my brain goes crazy. Now, all right, I get it. Well, I mean, you can get it if you want to. I'm not it was really inspiring for sure. Now I'm going to read the chat because I know I missed some. My ideal world, 5 a.m. would not exist. I'm a night owl. Yeah, there's those two different things. And when, like, my husband's a night owl and I'm a early bird, and so we really don't always mesh. It's like, I want to go to bed early and he wants to stay up late, and I want to wake up early and he wants to sleep. It's a mess. Cross stitching into Tunisian simple stitch looks really cool. I just discovered that. Yes, thank you, Nessa. I just discovered that was a thing. Tunisian simple stitch, cross stitching, like being a really good marriage. I was like, oh, that's so neat. So I'm going to play with that. I was thinking about, of course, it has to be black, maybe a charcoal. It has to be that dark color that they're putting a lot of their cross stitch on. But just doing that, and then, oh, yeah. I used to love to do cross stitch, but as you got older, your eyes, yeah. But cross stitching is with those little itty bitty squares, but crochet, we're kind of making it bigger. So you're still cross stitching, but everything is like magnified. So it's easier to see and hopefully also easier to do. Yeah, now I want to make a sweater though. That would be so awesome. That would be so awesome. Oh, Mary, you always like get me so full of ideas, and then I just have so much I want to make that I can't possibly do it all. Like, oh man, that sounds amazing. We'll see how that works. 2 minutes. Okay, so I didn't get very far with my project, but that's okay. Maybe I'll take some time a little bit later to do another 20-minute session to kind of work on that one a little bit more. Got that put away. Next, I'm working on my granny squares. So far, I have 8. 4 and 4. I think that the next combination I'm going to do is probably to put the cream in the center. And then probably like this one, reverse it. So the cream will be in the center, and then the dark cinnamon color, and then the pink. I think that'll be my next go-to. Yeah, there's just something about a very simple granny square blanket. I know these are going to be little, and it's going to be just kind of something you see a lot of, but I've found that I've looked at a lot of granny square projects, and I have been motivated to work granny square projects where I love the color. I love the color combinations. They just speak to me. And so even though it's a simple project, I love the colors. And I think that's where the joy really comes in, is seeing how those colors look together and how the project will look as a finished project. I think that's what's really pulling my crochet excitement and my interest in this project, is the colors. Right, 20 minutes or 20 seconds. Minutes. All right, so go ahead and take a stand. Take a second to stand up. And we're just going to go ahead and cancel that. Okay, so now it is time for our crochet stretch session. Now, the parts of our body that I like to focus on every time we stretch is our I'm going to start from the top. So I want to focus on our neck, our shoulders, our upper back, our lower back. I want to focus on our hands and our forearms. Okay, so neck, shoulders, upper back, lower back, hands, and forearms. If we can get a little bit of each, it's all we need to just kind of get ourselves out of the position that we have been in for a long time. Again, the reason we stretch is because we've been in one position for so long. It's not good for our bodies to be in that same position for that long. So we just need to kind of do the opposite position to break ourselves free, kind of flexing or releasing the flex after flexing so much. Okay, so we just stood up. Okay, let's go ahead and start with our neck. Let's do neck rolls this time. And again, if I ask you to do any stretches that you don't feel comfortable with, they don't feel right, don't do them. This is just listening to your body, and you can do whatever modifications that you want. So I want to start with the neck. So we're going to start by leaning our head to the right and then rolling it to the left. And then go backwards. So backwards from the left to the right. Now, this is different than just going side to side. We want to roll. So again, rolling from the right forward to the left, and then backwards from the left to the right. Now let's go ahead and do the opposite. So we're going to go back to the left. So back to the left, and then forward to the right. And then again, back to the left and forward to the right. Now, by doing rolls opposed to, I think last week we just did side to side, the rolls, you'll really start to feel it on the back of your neck as you're like going forward. And it stretches a different spot. So that feels great. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to focus on our shoulders. So I want to do circles, right? We're going to keep it fun. I want to try to do something different every time we stretch. So taking one arm, pick an arm, any arm. So starting from the bottom, just go around, go slow. Go around, there's two. Oh my gosh, I feel it so much when I get to this point. Oh, there's two. And three. And four. One more. And 5. Now reverse it. Go backwards first. And 1. And 2. And 3. 4. And 5. Oh my gosh. I always get surprised when I can feel it. So I'm like, that's all. I didn't do anything much, but man, I feel it. Okay. Other arm. Here we go. We're going to go forward first. Okay, forward. And 1. Oh. And 2. 3. 4. And 5. Now the reverse. Backwards. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Okay. Next, we're going to focus on, what do I want to do? Oh, I can do those. Next, we're going to focus on our forearms. So I want you to find a surface, any kind of surface. And instead of doing these things like we've been doing, we're going to use a platform this time. So I want you to take your hand and I want you to have your fingers go backwards and just kind of like that. I'm not putting any pressure. I'm not stretching back. I just want to take my hand to a table and I'm going to go like that. By doing that, because we are this a lot, it affects our wrists. So we want to do the opposite motion. And just by holding it there, feels good. And if you want to move around, feeling a good stretch, there we go. Okay, and let's do the other side. So other hand. I can't do. All right. So it's like, okay. There we go. Like, you can't see anything. Like, but okay. I'm going to say about 10 seconds. So not even very long. All right. Now let's go ahead and do some wrist rolls. Go slow. We don't need to be fast. Let's do about 5 one way. 5. And then the other direction, 5, which always feels awkward. 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. And now I'm going to do finger stretches. I love these. These are amazing. I could do these every single time. I don't know if we did them last week or not, but take your hand and open your fingers real wide. Take your one of your fingers and just kind of like bring it back. I'm not asking you to yank. I'm not asking you to put a lot of pressure on it. Just take your finger and just bring it back. What you're going to feel is you're going to feel that stretch actually go down your palm, and you're going to realize how interconnected everything is. And then next finger. 3, 4, 5. I'm going to give each finger 5 seconds. I mean, I've done 10 seconds before. It's like you feel your body, what it needs. If you're feeling it like this, my middle finger, I can feel all the way down my forearm. So whatever you're feeling you need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then for your thumb, they want you to bring it out and then bring it back. Because if it's too close, then your range of motion is different than if you bring it back or out and then back. 3, 4, 5. All right, let's work the other hand. Okay. Spread your fingers out real nice and wide. I start with my pinky and I work my way in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And your thumb. Pull out and then back. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now we've done our neck. We've done our shoulders. We've done our forearms. We've done our hands. Lastly, let's go ahead and do our lower back. Now, again, lower back, it's always a sensitive part of our body. So do whatever feels right for you. And we just need to move. We just need to move, really. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my body facing here, and I'm just going to twist. I'm going to twist as much as I can. So twist. So like, it's like this. But if I'm using like a platform, then I can like twist even more. Hold it for like 5 seconds. 4, 5. And then the other direction. You might hear your spine pop, where it's like pop, 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 pop. Hopefully it feels good. But 5 seconds. 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's it. That's all you got to do. You don't have to do anything crazy. You don't have to do anything for a really long period of time. We just need to take a moment to have our bodies move and do something different than what we've been doing for 40 minutes. Because we just finished 2 20-minute sessions of crafting or sitting and not doing anything. And we just need to make our body do something else. Right. So now go ahead and grab project number 3 or whatever you're doing for the next 20-minute session, the last 20-minute session. This is our last 20 minutes. And then your Wednesday WIP knockout is complete. Yay. Okay, so here we go. 20 minutes has started. Project number 3. Okay. Now, it's funny, with project number 3, doing the granny squares that I was talking to you about, I'm using there's 4 colors, actually. Let me grab the 4th. yarn running away. Okay, go back. Okay, so these are the 4 colors that I am using for this project. Come on, they're so big. This Lion Brand Pound of Love. These 4 colors, and they look really vintage and really cute. I was thinking I'm going to use this brown color, which I think is called Sugar Cookie. I'm going to use this color for the joining color, and I'm going to bring the cream color into the actual squares. And I'm thinking that by using this beige brown for joining everything, it will add or accentuate that whole vintage vibe that I am going for. We'll see. I'm going to do it. We're going to see. But these colors I actually got from an inspiration picture I found on Pinterest for those color palettes I was talking to you guys about. Sometimes I just really struggle with what colors will look good together. So I'll go on Pinterest and I will look to see what I'm attracted to. What is visually appealing to me? What do I really like? And then I'll try to grab a couple different images, color combinations that I really, really like, because the next thing you have to do is then see if there is a yarn available in that color or in all those colors that you found in that color palette, or at least a good number of colors in the color palette having a yarn option. Because it's a major bummer if you only bring one inspirational picture with you to find that they just don't have yarn in those colors. It's a major bummer. So I ended up finding an inspiration picture that I thought was beautiful, very vintage and artistic. And these colors were really close. They weren't identical, but they were really close. And I was like, I could get the vibe. And then I've just had these yarns sitting and waiting for months, just looking at me like, when are you going to play with me? And of course, like all other crafters, sure, I have 15 other projects that need to be finished, but this one was talking to me. I had to start something brand new. But then I saw some images of some simple granny square projects, and I was like, that's really beautiful if done with specific colors. So I'm like, I want to just do this. I have not done it. I would love to have this project under my belt as part of my portfolio, something that I can have a really pretty picture of to show people I made that, and I'm using colors that inspired me, that I felt connected to. So it's going to add to my vibe and my color palette, which is another thing I really need to build up, is projects that are in my color palette that I love so much. It's just my vibe. And so I was like, shoot, just do it. Plus, I would love to make more blankets. Now, granny squares can make blankets, but they don't feel like blankets. They feel like small projects that you joined together. Like, I feel like a crochet blanket project is more of something that was worked in rows over and over and over again and consecutively at one time. That seems to be more of the feel I get when I'm like, I would love to make more blankets. Do you guys ever do you feel that way at all? Like granny squares, yes, they can make blankets. Yes, they can make totes. Yes, they can make pillows. They can make a lot of things, but they're more so just pieces, small pieces that you put together to like Legos, like Legos. Granny squares are like Legos. Man, there's also so much I want to do. There's so many projects that I want to make. There's so much inspiration out there, so much beauty, so many color options, so many fiber options. Just absolutely love it. Now, what do you do when you lose your Crojo and you're not feeling that anymore? Well, sometimes you got to take a step back. And you got to just kind of remind yourself of things that got you excited. For me, I will sometimes just look through a bunch of books, look through a bunch of crochet books. What in here got me super excited? You just got to refine the flame. You got to refine the passion. But please always know breaks are important. Breaks are good for your mental health. Breaks are beautiful. Breaks are positive. Should never make breaks sound like a bad thing. Well, hello. Oh, is that banana bread? Oh, that looks delicious.
Are you live?
I am live.
Okay,
bye. Apparently, we have banana bread in the house. My daughter's so funny. She's so camera shy. My son's not. Oh my gosh. I tell my son I'm live. He's like, really? Hello, everybody. Here I am. I have graced you with my presence. He's that kid. He's so funny. 12 minutes and 20 seconds left. Mouse. One, two, three. Yeah, I get you with the weaving in the ends. Nessa said she has so many projects she wants to do too, but with granny squares, it's no fun weaving in the ends, and you are right. That is definitely not as much fun, but it looks so good. It's so pretty. It's almost, I almost said it's almost like childbirth where it's not pleasant, but it's rewarding. And then I was like, wait a second. They're not exactly the same. Just compared granny squares to childbirth. Wow. That sounds like a quote. Put that on a t-shirt. I am excited though. I'm hoping to bring new content styles to my channel. I'm hoping to do some really fun reviews. Small, just really fun reviews. I want to make sure that I want to try to do something a little different, help stand apart, be helpful, be informative, but also inspire. And so I'm going to be bringing reviews to my channel, which is going to be fun. And gosh, I'm hoping to bring a lot more small projects to my channel, and maybe even, hopefully, fingers crossed, like one skein projects. So small, fast, one skeiners. Because one, I don't have enough of those on my channel, and two, I think that's what a lot of people are looking for in certain situations. Not all situations, not all, but sometimes you just need to make something really fast. Oh, that is cute. That worked up really cute. Love these colors together. 8 minutes and 30 seconds. And I'm going to do a combination of reviews. I'm going to play. I don't watch a lot of reviews because I don't need to. But I'm thinking about doing a combination of budget-friendly reviews and specialty yarn reviews, kind of letting people know what to look forward to and why some specialty yarn is so special, why it's worth using. Because I don't know about you, but I definitely gravitate towards fancier yarns. I do, depending on the project for sure, but I just find myself like thinking a lot of these more specialty yarns have some character or some color combination or something about them, what possibly even the fiber. There's something about them that's different and captivating. And that's kind of what I'm always looking for. Now, I'm not saying that you can't find a captivating bargain yarn, but most of the yarns that I find that I'm like, oh my gosh, I really want to play with you, are a little more specialty. I want to show people why. I want to show people what they can make with specialty yarns, and also respect the fact that specialty yarns can be a little more pricey. And so what are some awesome things you can make with maybe just one? Because maybe that is all you could afford. I know that's me, especially when I go to a yarn crawl or a fiber festival. I want to buy so many different beautiful yarns that maybe I can only afford to buy one of this and one of that. And having some suggestions, some ideas of what are some great things that you could make with just one. So that way you don't find yourself feeling like, well, I loved this, it's beautiful, but now I don't know what to do with it. That would be helpful. I still have some yarns from the yarn crawl I went on 2 years ago. I have no idea what to do with them. So just kind of bringing some ideas to the table. Sounds fun. You've been thinking about the magic knot might help. Oh, yeah. That could definitely help with especially color changes. I know you're feeling so behind on your recording, and it'll be fine. You're okay. But you do. Nessa, you do yarn reviews, and I'm probably going to pick your brain tonight at tonight's Crafters Gathering over in the Crochet Club to find out more about your yarn reviews, how you pick your yarn, why you pick your yarn, what yarns you review, and why, basically. What yarns you review and why. Because there are so many different yarns out there. There's so many. 4 minutes and 30 seconds left. Oh, that's funny. I mean, I could technically just, okay, I'll do that so I don't have to undo everything I just did. I just realized I started wrong. It's not bad. It's not like I can't find a way to fix it. It's just like, oh, that's different. I did that different. Oh, wait. Oh, well. That's funny. That's very true, Nessa. So you were mentioning that people asked if you were going to record anything while you are at the crochet retreat. So you're right. Some people don't want to be recorded. Some people don't want to have their picture taken. And so I really respect that you have thought of that. So thank you. But I do think I'm going to encourage certain things to be taken or take pictures of, such as there's going to be a section where we are working on things to support Warm Up America. And I think it'd be really cool to show people like certain pictures. You don't have to take pictures of people, but you could take pictures of stuff. And we're also going to be supporting soap sacks. So same deal. We're going to be playing games. So maybe if you want to like take your own picture of like you doing something, I will encourage that because it's also a way for me to kind of, what's the word? Promote the event for next year too. So people can see what it's all about and get excited. Oh, bye, Mary. Aw, Donna, that's awesome. Nessa, would you be interested at all in sharing your channel, what your channel's called, or the link to it? Let's see. Oh, and there it is. I'm gonna finish. I'm so close. I'm on literally the last side of this granny square, so I'm just gonna close this up. But our 20-minute section 3, has just ended. The alarm has just gone off. So now is the time for you to just wrap up wherever you are. Finish that row. find a way to nice and neatly put your project away. I'm so close. Finish this right here. And there. I was able to get 2 granny squares out of that little session. Cut that off. Yay. Now I feel good. Can put that away now. Awesome. Awesome. Well, congratulations, everybody. And thank you so much for joining me today on this Wednesday WIP Knockout, where you were able to slowly chisel away at 3 projects, whatever they may have been. And just remember, sometimes it's not about giving a project an infinite amount of time and finishing it. It just takes 20 minutes a week. 20 minutes a week to slowly chisel away at it, and then it's done. And you're making forward progress. You're constantly moving forward with it. It's not something that is just sitting and collecting dust and just waiting for you. You are making forward progress with your projects to finish them up, get them out of your space, get them off of the shelf, to make room for new projects, make room for new yarn to play with. And 20 minutes a week does not feel like a lot of time. So you can still feel like you had lots of time to do other things, that it's not impeding into your personal time. It's not impeding on anything else. So I hope that this helps you. I hope that you were inspired and that you feel good after the session, especially after stretching with me. I hope that you have an amazing week, and I hope to see you next week for our next Wednesday WIP Knockout. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. Bye. I want to read this comment before I let you go. About the yarns I buy, it's usually if I see a good sale, okay, or if I have a project or something I want. I get it. Okay, or a yarn I'm curious about. Right. I still want to talk to you more about it. The higher in your show are usually from mystery boxes. Gotcha. Well, I still want to talk to you. We're still going to talk. I love it. All right. See you later tonight, Nessa. See everybody else next week. Bye.